Shall we begin?
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the More Than Just Keto podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ashley.
Hey, y'all. I am your other host, Molly. Something I see a lot and probably have said, I've said it. When the holidays are over, I will, or when the vacation is done, I will. And what I mean is when life, because life happens, life keeps going, things keep happening. There's always going to be something, right? But when you think, or I used to say, like I said, I've heard people say, when such and such is over, I'll start whatever, keto, weight loss, exercise, whatever, right? Been guilty of it, hear it all the time. But the reality is that life happens even when you're keto. Life happens, period. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If we wait, we're never going to start, right? Because there's always something.
There's always going to be something. And literally, it's one thing to the next. It's the thing that stops is another thing that starts is another. And this, so that's why this is why I joke. It's like, oh, you're just going to wait for life to stop so you can start, because it's just never going to be. It's kind of like when people say like, oh, I want to have a baby when I'm ready. You're never going to be ready. It's never going to be the great time.
When I have enough money.
It'll never happen.
Yeah, right.
Right. And so it's kind of one of those things. It's like if you wait for the perfect scenario in life where you just literally aren't going to do anything.
Right. You're never going to start.
How are you going to make this work as a lifestyle? It's just not possible. So you have to account for these situations, and you have to be willing to say things are gonna happen. Yeah. And this is how I'm gonna plan.
That is the key word here, plan. Because Ashley, you go on vacations, right?
Yeah.
You go to and you go to like parties and events
and birthday. Oh, I love a celebration.
Right. And yet you have remained on your journey. You haven't stopped, right?
No, none of those parties, vacations, trips out of town, events, birthday parties, work get-togethers, none of them have stopped me, no matter the choices I made, right?
Right. Well, that is key.
No choices that I made, nothing has stopped me so far. As far as my lifestyle goes, that's exactly what it is for me. Is a lifestyle. So I just continue on. So for me, it's less about what you choose in that moment and more about what you do after.
Yeah.
Depending on what choices you make. And it also depends how far in your journey you are, like where you're starting when one of these things happens. Because like I said, planning is key. So you have to know that no matter where you start your journey, you're going to have something come up.
Because think about it. Okay, so here we are. We're recording, obviously it's October when we record. This doesn't come out until next year. But here we are. Let's just talk about it now. We're in October. What's next? Halloween. Okay, I'll wait till Halloween's over because my kids are going to have candy. And we know how you are with Halloween. No, we know your Halloween experience. Okay, and then wait. Oh, and then it's Thanksgiving. Then it's Christmas. And
these do get lumped together, just like you're saying.
They do.
And that's what people do. But by October, it's screw it till January. Till
January 1st.
Right, because look at all those things.
Yeah, but then in January, all of a sudden it's like, oh my, okay, I have to have this birthday party. We're gonna have to have pizza here.
My son's birthday's in December,
or
2 weeks before Christmas, or sports.
Yeah, if we're having a get together and they're coming over, the end of the school year party. Like I've heard all these things, and I've heard people say, oh, well, we have this coming up. Maybe after that, I'll get started, or I'll get back to it, or whatever. And I get it, and I've done it. But what I've realized, it's like you said, it's like the planning thing. Okay, so no matter if you're keto or not, right?
Yeah,
you are going to need to plan. No
matter what, if you're trying to lose weight.
I was going to say, if you're trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to maintain weight, if you don't give a care, and you just haphazardly eat or eat to your heart's content or do whatever it is that you do, like I did for most of my life, then it doesn't matter. But if you are listening to this podcast, you're probably keto. you're
Right.
probably on a weight loss journey or you're probably maintaining and health conscious. So if
Right.
you are doing that, you are planning anyway. You're going to either look ahead at the menu if you're going to a new restaurant, or you're going to go to a place that you already know about and you know what they have. And what I've learned since being keto, I always laugh at that. I'm sorry. Is that it's easy to eat out. It's easy. It's
I think
actually
it is too.
easy.
Yeah, I
Grilled
think we make
chicken,
it more complicated than
vegetables,
it is.
steak, salads, creamy dressing. Like everything I just mentioned, that's a whole meal. That is a whole delicious meal. What did I forget? Oh, the fries, the bread
And maybe a
before.
bread.
That's it. Those are the two things I kicked out.
So I sub that out with wings. So if I'm like, I really want something before my meal gets here, I'm going to
Give
get
me some
wings
wings.
as
Yeah.
my appetizer, right? If it was going to be nachos, I'm going to get wings so that, especially if people are eating around me, because once again,
Yeah.
planning is 90% of it. And not feeling left out and not feeling white knuckling is really important,
It is
especially
for
when you're on
success.
your
Yeah.
journey. And especially if you're around foods that you feel like you have a hard time saying no to. And I've talked about this before, like the first time I ever went to Outback, like I wanted to eat that whole loaf of bread. Like I
The
literally like
brown bread.
physically, yes,
Oh
I
my gosh,
physically
so
saw
good.
myself just picking that loaf up and just shoving it in my mouth. Like I was so carb deprived and I was really detoxing at that point. You know, I was literally white knuckling the table. I'm like, oh my gosh, bring my salad. Please bring my salad. And I learned it's really not smart to go to a restaurant, especially if you're having a hard time with something you really want on the menu, or if you're having a hard time with a lot of temptations at a party or whatever, is to make sure you're not starving when you get there.
Yeah.
Those cravings, they change the choices a lot of times we make. So I will always make sure I've drank my electrolytes,
Mm-hmm.
I've had my water.
Mm-hmm.
Like I plan for these things. I make sure that I'm hungry, but not starving.
Yeah. And
And
you know
that's
what?
different. It's kind of like grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Yeah,
Terrible
you don't
idea.
want to grocery shop when you're hungry. But you know, the thing of it is, like what you just said, let's call that a tip. Here's a tip.
Right.
Don't go to any event when you haven't eaten. Like have something. Back in the day when I was in Beachbody, I remember the lady that led us, our coach, she was giving us tips, and one of the tips was make sure you have a little something before you go to the party.
It is super important
So
because
it's
you don't,
so
yeah,
common. Like that's a
yeah.
common thought. Like makes sense. But you know what? We don't do it. So here's the tip
Right.
Ashley just gave. I think that's a great tip. Let's put it back out there. Before you do anything, whether you're keto or not, make sure you eat something before you go, but don't fill up. Just make sure you eat something. You know
Yeah.
what? I went to the movie the other day, and
That's a hard place because oh man, you want to
the
eat
smelling of the popcorn, and they have
oh,
this the
soda
snacks
and
and
the snacks and the candy and the
right.
yeah.
The movie theater we went to was the movie Tavern, and they give you
Oh
like
yeah,
food.
yeah.
They
So we
have
had one.
food.
Yeah, we ordered. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
it was my first time ever doing that. Now I have to say it wasn't that good. It really wasn't that
Yeah.
good. I mean, I
We have
wish we'd
yeah.
just gone out to eat at a different place and then
Ours has a
went to the
restaurant
movie.
in it, and you can just take it up.
Well, this one they
It's an
serve you
actual
from the
yeah.
restaurant in it,
I've been to that. Yeah, we
but
have one
it
of those
just
movie taverns here.
it wasn't restaurant quality. I got a
Yeah,
chicken Caesar salad.
yeah,
Chicken Caesar salad. And it had the option, no croutons. Because, once they bring it, you can't see it. So
yeah,
you're hoping that it's right. But you get the options and you do it. My son got a pizza. They had options there, but it was a special theater. I've been to the movie when I was keto, and I brought
I brought beef
nuts.
jerky,
And oh, you brought beef
nuts.
jerky? Beef
Yeah,
jerky, you're brave because that's smelly. You can smell that.
the popcorn smelly. Come at me, people in the seats. Also, I like to pick weird movie times so that we're only the only ones in there.
Oh, me too. I do a Monday afternoon. We went
Literally
on a
work
Monday.
time. I take my kid. Yeah,
It was four
yeah,
of
yeah.
us there.
You can open a tire bag of jerky and then run around with it. Nobody will know. It's fine. Which I don't
Toss the
do.
jerky.
Sounds really weird. I have my son just throw me a piece of the jerky. I'm like catching it like
Catch what
popcorn.
you're out.
It's out of control. But
Well,
I
it's the
took
craziest.
jerky and
Mhm.
like slim or not slim jims, but they have like the Jack's zero sugar. Like yeah, and then I just take my big bottle of water
Big
and my
bottle. I order the water, gonna order
yeah,
something there. But and my
yeah.
son always gets, the
Oh,
junk
my
because it's me
kids
and
get
my
the
teenager
popcorn, the
that got, yeah, they
candy,
get
and
the
the
stuff. So I don't feel
yeah.
bad. I don't feel bad because they're still,
No.
the movie theater's still getting paid
I
with my
used to eat
ticket and the
that
food.
popcorn until I was sick in there.
Oh, see, I can't. It gives me gas. And the worst things have gas in a movie.
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, I would eat that. I would eat that popcorn with the butter on top until my
Yeah, the
stomach
extra
hurt.
butter.
Oh my God. Oh, even thinking about it now, I'm like, that was terrible. And I love popcorn, but the things
But
I used to
listen,
do.
I got to say this. It's a mindset thing because here's the thing. I don't drink soda. I haven't had soda in years and years and years.
Yeah.
Okay. But I had it. Well, I've talked about this. I've had it my whole life like
Yeah.
crazy, but I stopped it. And I tried it. I told you this, I think, a couple years ago, or not even, it was last
Yes.
year. And it
Yeah.
was gross. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
isn't that interesting?
I feel the same
But
way.
the mindset thing, I would have never thought I was going to go to a movie and order a bottled water
Isn't that
until
crazy?
to now it's normal to me.
Now you're like, yeah, I can't wait to get my
And I
water.
feel good about myself when I get
And
my
your
bottled
choices.
water.
Isn't it okay? So doesn't it feel, this is what it feels like to me. It feels so free. I felt trapped before by my choices. Like I had to eat those things, or when I was white knuckle dieting, that I couldn't
Yeah.
have them. And
Yeah.
now I honestly choose not to have them
No, I
because
agree with you. I know
no,
exactly what you're
I could
saying.
anytime. I've been on this journey for how long? At any time. At any time. I could be like, you know what? I'm gonna have that. Yep. I'm gonna have that. And I'm gonna resume. But 90% of the time, I don't have it.
And you
There, I
choose,
make I make choices for it, but I've learned also that that processed food after not having it like so for so long
it's not
does
good.
not make you feel
It
good.
also
And
didn't
I just
taste
crave to
good.
feel well, and it doesn't taste as good
It
as I
just
remember.
doesn't.
It just realizes how, you know, how your taste buds change and the food changes the way that you like what you crave and what you want.
And your
So
reasoning changes. Like you're saying,
my
like you're not okay.
exactly.
So when you used to go to the
I'm
movie,
not trapped and addicted anymore. That's
yeah,
really what it
no,
is.
because when I used to think about going to the movie pre keto,
Yeah.
I would think it's an event, it's a movie. You get popcorn, you get the
You're
candy, and you
allowed
get
to have
it's
that. You get
normal. It's
everything.
normal.
It's a
That's you're
treat
supposed
yourself.
to,
You are.
right? And I did believe that.
Me
I really
too.
did.
That's how I
But
got
like
that
you're saying,
body.
it's right, right. My pre-keto
Yeah, I
body
treated
that's
myself
made
way too
by
much, way too often.
yes. But what you just said about feeling more free,
Yeah,
I
because
know
I don't feel
exactly what you're
trapped by
saying.
my choices that I felt like before. I would just feel crappy, and then when I was dieting and not lifestyling, I was like, you can't have that. And that
Yeah.
felt trapped. I felt trapped. Oh, I can't have that. I can't have that. And then that causes binge eating, for
Yeah.
me, that
Oh yeah,
cycle
me
of yes, no,
too.
yes, no,
I
yes,
was
no,
good
yes, no.
all week and all weekend I binged. Just, it's like I was good all week. I have a
Yeah, but
blowout
then you
this
just
weekend.
erase your entire week with a couple days. And so getting out of that yo-yoing is so important. So important for us to get past that phase, finding something that works long term for us because you do sort of get away from feeling trapped in your choice either way. Feeling like
Hmm.
you can't get out of making bad choices and feeling like you can't get out of making all the right choices but not happy. You
Yeah.
know, because there's a stage of, some suffrage. And we've talked about this a lot last season about, it's not all rainbows and butterflies the first
No,
few
no,
weeks.
no.
It's rough. It's
What
it's hard.
as you say that, we talked about this earlier. When you go out, right? You looked at
Hmm.
your menu, you know what you're going to order because, you're a good keto girl.
Not, not only that too, but I also look at the menu to get excited for something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
Because some people are like, well, I don't want to have to look at the menu. Okay, I like to look at the menu.
Right. Don't look at the
I want
menu
to
then.
look
Wait till you get
forward.
there and just order
I
you a
want to look
steak and a
forward to
salad.
like
Like
if I'm eating, like I get in the mindset, like I'm serious about my food. So I'm like, I'm gonna order. Ooh, they have wing. I get
you're like
excited.
Kobe's that way. He loves looking at the
Yeah, I love
menu
to look at a
first. He
menu.
loves
I
it. He's
love
like,
that. I
can we
don't want
look
to be
at what we're gonna yeah.
surprised. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, and then sometimes you do make a plan. You look at the menu and you see they have this, but I don't know. Maybe I won't get that, or maybe I'll have a replacement. I'll bring
You
one of
start
my
making the
replacements.
substitutions,
Yeah,
right?
you have a
You're
plan, but you
wheeling and
have a
dealing.
plan.
You're
You have a
making a
plan,
plan.
right?
Right.
Then you go to the restaurant and you use your substitution and you use whatever they have, right?
That's one of my favorites is to modify the meal on the way. And I posted about putting the tortillas in my bag. People are like, did you really bring? Yes, I did.
People do it all
If
the
I don't
time
bring a
now.
slice of bread, I don't care.
It's
I don't care.
okay.
Like I want to look normal. I'm not, but I want to look it.
Hey,
So no, I want to enjoy it. No, I'm kidding. I'm
and
really
we're
making
here
fun of
to
it,
tell
but
you it's okay that you do that. It really
it's
is okay.
totally fine. No one's gonna care. Actually, no one, no
No
one
one's even
cares.
looking.
No
They
one
don't care.
cares.
They don't
No one
care.
cares. But
You
yes,
need
you
to
can bring your
care. Do
substitution, like you
what's
said.
best for you. So you brought your tortilla.
So I went on vacation and I had decided, I looked at the menu. Mexican is one of the hardest for me, and it's why I bring a substitution. You don't need it, but there are a few cuisines that it's not as easy to eat um low carb. No, it wasn't Mexican, sorry. Um I looked at the menu and there was a wrap specifically that I wanted.
Mhm.
And so I it was it's something I haven't had in a while. And on vacation, I do more substitutions than when I'm home. I don't typically do them. So I decided, looking at the menu, I really wanted that wrap. It had all the things. It had barbecue or buffalo
Because
sauce
she
and
looked at
it
the
had
menu.
ranch.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, yes, yes, this is what I want. So I'm like, okay, let me go get some low carb tortillas. I'm just going to dump that sucker out
And
and
stick it in your
it's perfect.
tortilla.
And I'll get a
Yeah.
side salad. So I thought I put my tortillas in my purse, like I normally do. And I guess they must have fallen out when I was getting ready or something. So I get to the restaurant and I order my wrap and I'm like going to get my tortillas and I go in my bag and I'm like, oh my,
No wraps.
I'm like, I've got my bag out. I'm like going through it. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no, I can't dump this. There's not enough food to dump out. At this point, I'm gonna have to order like another meal. Because my meal showed up. And so I just sat there and my husband looked at me and he's like, it's a tortilla. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's a tortilla. I eat low carb all day. Actually, my net carbs are really low. Actually, I'm not eating that much. Actually, I'm eating the tortilla.
You
Yep.
eat that
Eating
tortilla.
the tortilla. And I enjoyed every bite of it. And then I had a side salad. Now, my kids ordered French fries. And could I have taken that moment and been like, oh, screw it. If we're going to do it, let's do it. And
Right.
have there been
Mhm.
times where
I
I have
used to do
said,
that.
no, I am planning to have this entire meal is like, this is not, my grandmother cooks. I've talked about this. Like, I'm eating the meal. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
making
totally different.
modifications.
You
That's different.
planned to eat the whole meal.
I
This one you
wanted to
planned a
stay on track.
modification and then it didn't work out
It
and
didn't
then
work
you
out. Accidents
rolled with
happen.
it. Yeah.
So I ate the low carb, or I ate the
Regular
wrap,
tortilla. Hmm.
the regular tortilla, and I had the side salad and I just kept it moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't feel bad. I didn't overdo it. It didn't spiral me. I like had a very normal conversation in my own mind of like,
Isn't
yeah,
that
I have
healthy
tortilla.
and
And I had never done that
balanced?
before.
That's such
And
growth.
I just got up and kept doing my thing. And, I felt fine.
And let's add here, that took you a while. Like
A
you didn't,
long
right. And I
time.
think that's
Let's be real.
important that because we talk, we've been doing this now for a couple years.
Yeah.
We have learned a lot. We've had these
It was a lot of
situations.
abstaining
Yes. So what we
before
want to
this
talk
point.
about that when you're in the beginning of keto and you are trying to get into ketosis, we're talking about, Ashley went with it. Like she had the regular wrap, right? Well, if you just started keto,
It
you
wouldn't
might
be a
want to
choice I
just
would have
get the
made.
salad, just get the salad and the chicken. If something like that were to happen, it's like, just eat the inside. Because if you've just started out, you don't want to
If
just,
I had just started out, I would have ordered another like wings or something else on the
right,
menu and added it to, and I would have eaten the inside and I would have eaten my salad. Honestly, that's what I
right,
would have done
right.
2.5 years ago. That's what I would
Yeah.
have done then. Yeah, because I did not have a relationship with food that was healthy enough to
You
go in
have
and out of taking
grown
this
in your relationship
because it's my lifestyle,
because it's your
not my
lifestyle.
diet.
And it's a relationship that you take care of, right?
I do.
Relationships with our spouses, with our kids. Like it's so the relationship with ourself and this lifestyle that we've committed ourselves to and that we enjoy and that makes us feel our best. We want to commit to that lifestyle and we want to, that lifestyle, that relationship grows and gets better and better and better. So
Exactly.
you have had a growing, blossoming relationship with food that's not unhealthy anymore. So you were able to make that decision and then move on. You were also able to potentially get out of ketosis and get right back in very quickly. Whereas at the beginning, that is not going to happen.
It's not.
It takes a while to get into ketosis, but the difference is when you've been doing this long enough, consistently, then it's easier to get back into ketosis if you are knocked out. Whereas in the beginning, it's hard. It's
It is
hard.
hard.
So
I mean,
you
it took
do
me
have
over a week to get in just the first time.
right. So don't be
I
fooled.
mean,
Like I know we're talking like but we've been doing
but you
this a
know
while.
what? You can look at this like, man, that's where they are. That's it's possible because,
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
be fair, a lot of people say, well, keto is just another way of disordered eating. I know people know, they've heard it. They've
Oh,
heard it.
I've heard
All
it that
diets
all
are
diets.
disordered eating,
Yeah,
right?
right,
And that can be true. And you know what? I still weigh my food. I don't track actually every day
right.
anymore.
Me
I track
neither.
most days, but now I do weigh every day
Oh
because
yeah. You
the
want to know
tracking is
what's?
really because
Mhm.
I'm eating the same things. The days that I eat exactly the same, I know what my
There's no
grams are for
need,
everything.
right?
So there's no need for me to track. But
But you weigh it so you make sure and have
I
what it is that you
weigh to make
know.
sure
Yeah,
because we've talked about how generous I am to myself when I don't weigh.
right.
And
And most people are
and even doing that, even being that mindful, because that's really what I think it is. I don't think it's
mindful.
excessive. Being mindful about
Yeah,
my food and my consumption of food, I'm still able to have a moment where I can go, yeah, I'm gonna have to eat the tortilla. It's okay.
right.
So there is balance that can be found here.
Yeah.
If you really seek that, if you want that,
Hmm.
you have to know that you might work hard in the beginning and you may have to say no to a lot of things. And we have an entire episode about saying no to
Right,
things
right.
and what that looks like to then free yourself from having to feel like you don't get to make those same choices
Yeah. And that takes
later on.
time because you've
Yeah,
learned
you gotta
what
work
you're
on it.
eating. Yeah. And it's a consistent behavior, it's a consistent choices, making the right choices over and over and over becomes habit. And you've like I said, you've grown in the
Right.
relationship. Now, I have heard that it is actually even recommended that we go in and out of ketosis. Now, again, not in the beginning, but later on
Yeah.
to go in and out of ketosis. And you mentioned it's good to keep your body guessing.
Just for your metabolism, and this goes with anything, just like exercise. If you do the same exercises too often, too repetitively, not changing weights, not changing what you're doing, your body is very good at recognizing what you're doing and accounts for it.
Yeah.
And this is why you've seen a lot of people that like do the Biggest Loser.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have drastic results, and almost all of them, not every single one of them, but almost all of them
Gain it
have
back.
gained them back.
Yeah.
They've
And then
actually done a
some.
study with them with their metabolism. And because of the type of diet that they were on, it really, really messed up their metabolism
It was low
because
fat, surely.
right. And so they've done some studies on that, and it shows that like any time that you're in a too restrictive mode for too long, or that you do the same thing for too long, your body will eventually adapt and you will stop seeing change. And this is a lot of time where some of the plateauing comes from. Um, and you know, just having and I've seen this too where people say, yeah, had that high carb meal and my scale's even lower today. And it's like, yeah, because it's not about the meal. It's not about, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's more about the calories than anything, but also it's about what you're doing over time,
Right.
right?
Right.
Not just one day. So that little metabolic shift for here and there, or like I do one meal a day for a while and then I stop doing that. And that is another reason for that, where I'll add snacks in or add, because you
Yeah.
want to keep your body guessing.
Yeah.
If you do the
Switching
same thing
things
all the
up. I did
time,
OMAD today.
it, nice. So yeah, your
Yeah.
body's like, wait a minute, we're so yeah, I mean, it's good to keep making small changes. And you see that a lot in our community, with people that are like, oh, I'm going to try this, I'm going to do that. And that's not a bad thing to do. I think people are like, wow, you're just doing something else, or it's not bad
No.
to change up your routine. In fact, keeping your body guessing is a great way to keep your metabolism working properly.
Yeah. Now I've heard people talk about like carb loading and things like that. Like I
I mean,
understand.
I feel like that's a cheat. For me, that would just be like a carb loading would be like I have a full cheat meal, or a treat meal, or a,
You said
you know,
cheat, you know.
I know you mean.
But that Dr. Ryan, he talked about the carb load, and he said the thing about the carb load is most people do it wrong. So it does matter how often you do it, what you're choosing. Like these things all
Yeah,
matter.
I
And I
believe
think
that.
people think, oh, I'm a carb load. I'm going to have a whole pizza this weekend and I'm going to have me a box of soda and then I'm going to have me some ice cream and this is going to be my carb load. No, that's going to be like, what are you doing? Like,
That's a
because that
glucose,
can really
like literally
mess you.
sugar.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that can
overload.
mess you up in your head too because your body is like, wait, what? And then
Yeah, it's a
it's
shock.
a sugar, right. So it does matter what
Right.
you're choosing. It really does matter. And I had to learn that over time because I didn't realize that. And and Dr. Ryan, he says he does it once a month. That's what I do once a month. And it's not even
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
call
that's
it carb load or cheating. I call it free.
um,
And because I've just, my choices have changed because
yeah.
I don't want to even take a chance of falling into that trap I see all the
I
time in
know.
our
And it's
community where
really it's common right now. Yeah.
they start with the carb sugars and things, and then they keep going. It's like, oh,
I see it
yeah, if you
being
can't
a
control it,
dangerous slope. Right. And
right.
I never had a good relationship with food. So it's not something I could do.
Yeah.
And like you do your free day. Oh, I've always been like, oh, I can't wait to get to that point. I realized that that's just not something that I will probably ever do. And I think because it is such a slippery slope
Mhm.
to get into the bad habit. But what I have decided over the last year is that now um I just base it off of something I want to participate in, something I want to eat, something I want to
Yeah.
experience, something I want to do.
Hmm.
So that if I don't feel, because I have a problem with being like, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not as strict with putting everything in Carb Manager. Sometimes you give yourself a goal and you'll actually meet that goal when you really don't even need to. So I
Yeah.
feel like if I'm like free day, I'm like I've worked all month for this free day
Yeah.
versus, oh, you know what? We're going to so and so. I'm gonna have rice tonight. So do you see what I'm
I
saying?
totally see what you're saying,
It's a
and
different,
I
and
get that.
that is where I'm at. And so I think
And
I've
that's very
decided
good. I think that's very healthy and very balanced.
because I've realized that I will abuse the system the same way that I would have before if I
Right.
have that as a goal. Because
Yeah.
by giving myself the day or the,
The meal or,
whatever, or the holidays, right? The whole time,
oh, yeah.
I am going to look forward to it. And then when it gets there, I'm going to overconsume and not like the choices that I make.
And you
So
know
I've
yourself
realized,
best. You know
right,
yourself best.
I've
And
realized that for me, looking forward to the event and choosing to indulge or not indulge is a better choice for me,
then
and it
have
feels
the,
more
yeah.
balanced.
Yeah.
And I'm just always going to be keto no matter what,
It sounds
right?
very healthy.
For
And plus, and let's just add that we love the way we eat. So it's like,
I
for,
do.
I
So
will
there's
say,
no deprivation
well, I was
over
going to
here.
say,
Your
I was
girl's
going
eating good.
yeah. Well, I was going to
Your
say,
girls.
the last couple months, I actually haven't had a free day. I went on vacation. Of course, we know I had that crazy
Yeah.
day after I
Well,
got back.
your free days have completely changed
They've
from
changed,
the
but I
beginning.
had that one crazy day. I won't even call it a free day because it
No,
wasn't
no.
even a planned free day. It was, we got back from
It
vacation
was just a meal.
and let's pick
It
this
was
up. It
just
was a meal and it was a lot.
it was a meal.
And then I didn't have a free day at the end of the month. Like, I was like,
So you just
oh,
had the
so
one
I've kind
meal.
of forgotten
Yeah.
about the free day, if I'm honest.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah. So, and that's the other thing is we can change over time. We can change
Of
what we're doing
course.
over
And that we
time.
should be evolving. Like to be constant is to be staying the same or stuck. We should
Yeah.
always want to have a forward momentum. So that means that you will have to make changes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll stay still. So for me, just see, like, I just said, like, I forever was like, oh, I can't wait to get to the point where I can have my free day.
But now
And I
you're
realized,
like,
like, okay, that is setting myself up for what
that's interesting, though, how you explained it. That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way.
that you're chasing that then. Now I've
Yeah.
put a marker and a goal on, well, I got to be a good all month so I can not be good this day. And
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, well, that's not really in line
Yeah.
with my lifestyle. What's in line with my lifestyle is, oh, hey, we're celebrating this birthday. We'd love you to come. And they put cake out on the table and I either decide, yeah, I think I'm going to have that tonight.
Yeah.
And or, oh, we're having this meal and I'm going to eat all the things. And that's okay. It's just a meal.
Yeah. I think
It's
that's a good
more
place to be.
about enjoying the moment and not looking forward, like making food this massive
Thing.
reward.
I agree.
And
I
I think
agree.
that is where I've realized that's what doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
As soon as I make food a reward, it becomes very much like my old
Yeah.
habit.
Yeah. It's not good to make it a reward. I've heard that over and over. We shouldn't say cheat because you're not cheating, you're
Right.
eating. And you shouldn't say reward because you're not an animal. You don't get a treat for doing the right thing. It's like,
Right.
we reward myself with food. It's just, it's not a healthy
Rewarding myself
behavior.
with food looks like eating the things I should every day now for me.
Yes. I tell you this, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, wow, this is really cool because I didn't realize I really haven't focused on a free day in a while. And I think I might have grown a little and evolved a little. That's so good. That's
Exciting.
crazy because I agree with you, what you just said. You've had me really think tonight because I really hadn't thought about that. But the way you just explained it to me is probably the place to arrive. Does that make
I
sense?
feel, I'm gonna tell you honestly, like I felt like you would talk about your free day. I'm like, man, I want that, but I'm
Yeah.
not where I want to be. And then I really started thinking about, okay, so let's say you give yourself this timeline. What weight do you have to be to have a free day?
Right, right.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
And
because
I'm
you would
like,
always say, I'm wait till I get to my goal and then I'm going to do it. That's what you would say. I'm like, but you don't know your goal. It's like,
and
oh,
yeah, so you're like, what does that mean?
have I gotten
And so
there? I
I
don't know.
did. I started thinking about it not too long ago, and I thought, that's not for me.
Yeah.
I think I've grown out of that. I actually don't need that. And isn't it just more exciting to look forward to the thing that you want to do and eat the things than it is to like work so hard and be like, oh, so I just got to get through 3 more weeks and then I get to have pizza, or I just get to get through it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. No,
just, I
yeah. That's
just
good. Hmm.
realized that that's not what I want to do. That's
Yeah.
just not what I want to do. So that's why I haven't done it. And I couldn't figure out like what is it? Why don't you do it? You don't have to abstain now. You've done this long enough. You trust yourself now with food.
Right. Right.
So what is it? And I was like, because it's dangling the carrot in front of my face
Yeah.
to reward myself. So I will, if you say, well, you get to eat 3,000 calories and you get to eat whatever you want. If I had to put it in a tracker, I'd get everyone in as versus,
Challenge on. Got it.
right, versus showing up, eating a
And
bite of
having
this or
the,
that
right.
and
Having the slice of
enjoying it,
cake. Yeah.
not worrying about doing it big
Reaching the
or what,
goal. Yeah. Yeah.
just eating and enjoying and being in the moment. And so I was like, that dropping the rules off of those things, even for something being free, has rules, a
Yeah.
day
I
and a
think that's great. I think that's
and
great.
I just had this moment where I was just like, I don't want that.
And here's the thing, how you just explained all that and how we're talking about it. It is interesting how we can this whole journey is so much more. We've said this so many times. It's so much more
It
than
is
just about
so
food. It
it's
is so much more
more.
because you thought about yourself. You thought, okay, so what is the goal? Okay, so like you asked,
Yeah,
talk
I
about
really had a conversation with
mindful
myself.
exercise, mindful
Yeah. Like, what am I doing?
shifting.
Why do I
And
want to do it? Why haven't I done it? I
isn't
know I
that
haven't done it.
beautiful? I love that. I
It
love that you've gone through that.
feels it feels like instead of doing something that I envied someone else doing, I made a choice for myself I
Love
didn't
it.
used to make choices
Yeah.
for myself that way.
Yeah.
This is what self-care looks like.
It's beautiful.
You know what I'm
It's
saying? Like
beautiful.
when we
Yes.
talk about it, self-care is giving yourself what is best for you.
For you. And nobody else can tell you what that is.
Nobody else.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And you know what? Some people like that day gives them the discipline that they need
It did
for
for
the
me
rest
for
of
a
the
long
month.
time. It did for me. It
And
worked
you
for me.
use whatever system
Yes.
that works. For me, it was abstaining and it was clean keto.
Yeah.
For some people, it's going to be free days
And
dirty earth
substitutions. Remember, I
and
did that for the
substitution,
longest
right?
time. And look at me now. Mostly clean.
Matter. You will evolve if you
You
stay
will
the
evolve.
path. That's the biggest thing.
And constantly, like continually,
Reevaluating,
not constantly,
changing,
continually thinking on it, pondering
reflecting.
over it, reflecting
Yes.
over it, and making decisions and not being afraid to change things,
Yeah.
I think that's great. So I went with my son the other night. He wanted to eat something. He was hungry. So he wanted me to go with him. And he chose Sonic. Sonic. I haven't been to Sonic in 8 years, 9 years. I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's not a place it's not my choice of fast food back in the day, but
Same.
right. So but I went with him. And so I have no idea what the menu looks like, right? So I'll pull up. I had no intention of getting anything anyway because I wasn't hungry. But if I were to be hungry, I can assure you I would have ordered nothing from the screen. I would have said, okay, let's get your Sonic and let's go get me some Greek I would have said something like
That's
that,
so funny. Yeah. Or like a
because
Wendy's burger wrapped in lettuce. They do that
something.
so well.
Now I was told that Sonic will give you a burger in a bowl. So there is always that, right? So I guess
Yeah.
there is always something, but I was surprised. I was so surprised that there was absolutely no healthy options on Sonic.
Especially because now pretty much everywhere
Everywhere's
has
got at
like
least a
a
little bit of the
vegetable of
light.
something. Yeah.
Something. A salad, grilled chicken. I mean, even if even McDonald's has like those
A
wraps,
side salad, a
that
wrap.
you
They
could
have,
take out,
yeah.
or they have the actual salad, huh? So, yeah, so I guess there are going to be some places that
There
will
could
not have
be.
options, but the truth is, let's be honest,
Other than that,
most places you can get a steak and salad and vegetables. Most places,
yes.
or
And
a
you know what?
burger without a bun, or any kind of meat protein, and then some
Veggies,
vegetables and a salad.
with wings.
And the benefit of keto, I will say this: this is probably one of my favorite things about living this lifestyle or eating this way. The creamy dressings. I felt so guilty in the past eating creamy dressing. And I remember when I first
It
ate
makes
creamy
such a
dressing with
big
keto, I was like, this is so bad for me. This is so bad for me. But it wasn't. But I really had that program in my head
Brainwashed,
that
yeah.
this blue cheese dressing was so bad for me.
That's not
Not
so
bad
good
for
you.
me. It's crazy how
That's
you
so
can
funny.
think a certain way.
And there will always be like at some point, yeah, maybe something that you're just like, oh, this is rough. Like, yeah, I'm eating one burger patty, or
Yeah, and
you're
it just,
scraping
it's just
toppings off a
food.
pizza,
It's just
and it's
food.
just, yeah.
I mean,
And
come on, you're going to eat again. So just eat a little something to tide you over, right?
yeah, and I always put a protein bar in my purse.
Yeah,
I
come
keep
with your
something in
snacks.
the car, so that if I'm like, whew, there really was nothing, I got some snacks in the car. I keep some pork rinds in there always. I always have some bottle of water, and then I always have like a meat stick of some sort. And if
Yeah.
I'm really needing, or maybe jerky, something like that, then I know, like, okay, I've got an option. One of the other things that I think is hard is Mexican food, chips and salsa, all the carbs, but that's a perfect place to grab your tortillas.
And
There
bring,
are
yeah.
plenty of things that you can order that don't have, you can do taco salads, just don't get beans. You can do, you know,
I've seen
you
people
can
bring their
scrape out.
Quest chips.
Oh, yes. And you
Yeah.
can. You know what? I like to order celery and eat the cheese dip there
Yeah.
with celery.
Instead of the
There are
spoon, you,
so
you do the
many.
celery. But instead of the spoon, like your mom.
Yeah. Oh, no. My mom would
She's the
lick it off
spoon.
the chip.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Remember?
right. She licked it. That's right.
Licked
She
it off the
licked it off
chip,
the chip.
suck it off the
You're
chip,
like,
put the
Mom, you
chip
could at
down.
least
I'm
use a
like,
spoon.
I'm like, this, I can never. Yeah, I'm
And then
never
you said
doing
you'd
this.
bring celery. Right, right. I remember
Bring
now.
or just order celery, or the Quest chips are
Oh, yeah.
great,
Order
or
celery. Hmm.
oh, you know what? Like, oh, our pita chips that we love from Nutrition.
Yeah,
You
those
dip
are a
that in
great
the
choice. There's so
queso.
many. There's so many.
There are options, and there's a lot more options now than there used to be. So
Yeah, so you
I
can
feel
still
like
have
one of the
life.
easiest, yeah, when you're on a low fat diet,
Yes,
that is
that's
one of the
tough.
hardest things. I
Yeah,
mean, it's literally grilled chicken. You
so
hope they don't
hard.
put butter on it.
And then you don't know how
It's
they cooked
literally
it. What if they cooked it in fat?
exactly,
Oh, you just messed up.
or oil, right? So like, I get when people say, yeah, it's hard to do low carb. It's hard to do low fat because I've
Yeah,
tried, and there's
me too.
almost nothing.
Right.
There's almost nothing. You
And
really
it's
can't really
tasteless.
do a bunless burger. It's a lot of fat that's in the burger.
Right.
You're looking for
And you ain't
grilled
getting
chicken,
cheese.
no cheese, all the toppings, all the dressings, like you
All the
said.
flavor.
So to me, making accommodations for keto,
So easy.
get out of
So
here. It's
easy. It's
actually
nothing.
pretty easy.
Yeah. So stop all your noise about, oh, I couldn't go eat because, I'm keto, so I couldn't pick anything off the
I've
menu. There's
literally
nothing
had
for
one or
me.
two things in my
Huh?
life where I've been like, okay, there's not really anything here, but
Mine's
I
just
brought
Sonic.
this.
That's it, Sonic.
Yeah. I mean, I went to the fair. There were not a lot of choices, but there were grilled meats. That's what I ate when we
Wrapped
left.
in
I went and
bacon.
got a salad. Yeah, it was wrapped
Yeah.
in bacon.
There's
When we
plenty. There's
left,
always
I
a
got a
choice.
salad.
Yeah.
There's always
Well,
something.
99.999%. Well, there's always a choice because, like Ashley said, you can always bring something with you
Yeah.
just in case there's nothing. But typically, you're going to find something. Like, I would
Yeah.
guarantee you're going to find something. If you're going to a restaurant, you're going
Yeah,
to find
for
something.
sure.
So,
Things are always going to come up. There's always going to be events. There's always going to be something. Birthdays, events, holidays, work things.
yeah,
If
don't
you
wait.
want to make it work,
You will.
you can.
You will.
A little pre-planning, a little bit of, maneuvering things around, maybe taking things with you. and just peeking at a menu, making a plan is the biggest thing. And you can totally be successful, or you can choose not to. And the biggest thing is just to move on after that. It's just one meal. It's just one thing. It doesn't have to make or break your entire lifestyle or all your hard work or whatever. And even if you have to get back in ketosis,
it's okay. You could do it. Yeah, that's old mindset. Don't do the whole, oh, I ate this, so now that's it. It's over.
Let me sabotage my whole entire.
No, we've been there, done that. It doesn't. It's not good. Let's not do that anymore.
You will get right back on track, and it will be worth it.
Yes, absolutely. We thank y'all so much for listening, and we do hope that y'all gained a lot from this episode, because I know if I were doing keto, this would have been so helpful for me back in the day.
Sure.
It's a lot of understanding, and I love the part, I think my favorite part is the fact that we can change over time and evolve and grow with our relationship with ourselves and with food. I loved it. So good. Thanks to Ashley for sharing that. That was, I have a lot to think about, and I mean this. So I just wanted to say this in the podcast as well, because I didn't even think about it till you said that. Isn't that great how we can have our podcasts and we can cause each other to think about things that we may not have thought about?
For sure.
It's the best therapy ever. It's the best.
The best therapy ever.
Best and free. Yeah. And fun.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and we're going to see you on the next episode.
And we'll see you next time. We love you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. You can find and connect with us over on Instagram at More Than Just Keto. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss out on the fun. We'll see you next time.